evening, viewers. The Punjab political thriller rages on. Despite a new chief minister being appointed in Punjab, Congress party continues to see divided voices and commentary coming from various quarters about who is really going to be the face of the party in the upcoming elections. There is an open criticism by the former PCC chief, Sunil Jakar. He's criticized Harish Rawat, where Randeep Surjewala has stepped up as a firefighter. And so will it be Sidhu who will lead for the Punjab election campaign? Will it be the newly sworn in Chief Minister, Mr. Channi? That's the big divide that's now emerging as well. Of course, this is after initial dissent and fighting over who the next leader should be, the Chief Minister should be. Right now, the CM and two deputy CMs have taken oath. But it's Harish Rawat who said that polls will be fought under Sidhu, which triggered reactions from various quarters. The party face to be decided by Congress chief, Sunil Jakar said, and this is where the fight is really going on. Now, while Punjab Congress and the Central Congress deals with this issue, and whether they'll fight together or will one of them have the upper hand, and if so, who will it really be? The Punjab Chief Minister jumped into action today after taking oath, laying out the promises for the state, raking up the contentious issues one after the other. In his first address as Chief Minister, he said that the farm laws must be rolled back by the central government and that the Congress party stands with the farmers. The big announcement really was on relief on the water and power bills, and he said that water, electricity, sewage bills will be waived off for farmers, for the SC and backward communities. The other big contentious issue, the sacrilege row, the new Chief Minister promised that the cases will not remain pending and that they will be expedited to deliver justice. And of course, he said that the Congress party high command, the party, its ideology, they are supreme, not the Chief Minister, and the Congress will take decisions. He is only going to be implementing him. Now, while he took his oath, Captain Amrinder was not present, not in attendance at that event. But the event was attended by Sidhu and Rahul Gandhi. So various scams, all of that infighting, attack from the rival parties on the party's decision to choose a Dalit CM face only up till the next election, but not really making him the man in charge for the next round of the government if they win, has also become a big talking point. What's going on? Is this the beginning of the crisis or the end of the crisis for the Congress party in Punjab? Let's say good evening to Hemant Attri, senior journalist, Neeja Chaudhary, also senior journalist, Paramveer Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party, Anshul Avjit of the Congress party, and Anila Singh of the BJP. I want to start off with Mr. Hemant Attri. Mr. Attri, how do we see various commentary that's now coming in? Has the Congress party now managed to put an end to this fight, or have they taken steps that will be further detrimental to them?
See, Tanvi, whatever is happening, it is just a fight of ambitions in Congress party. Whatever has happened, but how it started 2 months back, once Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu was appointed as PCC president, all hell broke out, and the way the replacement of Captain Amrinder Singh happened, it never happened earlier. The way a mess was created, the way the fiasco was created, it was as simple as that the Congress party is going to lose a already won election. That is one. Now, after appointing a person from Dalit community, first time in the history of Punjab, what is happening around? It is just a fight of ambitions. What Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu is doing, it is basically unbecoming of a PCC president, frankly speaking. How he is doing the things. He is already a PCC president. Congress party will be certainly led by him, and the government will be led by any chief minister. In this case now, it is Channi. What is the need for the General Secretary, Mr. Rawat, to tweet in the morning itself that Congress party will go into the elections with Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu as the leader? Who is Mr. General Secretary in charge to say that? And before even being sworn in, a Dalit chief minister, first time, if the General Secretary Rawat says that, it means a lot. It means that you are belittling their authority before being sworn in. That is one. Two, Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu must be aware of one fact, that politics is always never 2 plus 2, that is 4. No. Sometimes it is 2 plus 2, 22. sometimes 222, and then sometimes is 2 plus 2 is 0 also. What these guys are trying in Punjab, Congress party have given them the best bet, a Dalit chief minister, 32% of the vote, a Dalit Sikh who gels with everybody, who gels with 90% of the population. For the very simple reason, he belongs to a very humble background. What these guys are doing, they are fighting for themselves without anything being on offer. Election is still to come. A new chief minister has been appointed. Let him take his chair. Let him start working. Before that only, what they are doing? Navjot Singh Sidhu is scared of whether his authority will be challenged as PCC president. Where is the need of? The very simple reason, the way he behaved during this whole 2 months, the Congress basically had a momentum in its favor due to this farmer agitation, and there was no opposition party, as you know, earlier. Many surveys showed. All of a sudden, they decided to change. No problem, that is their decision. But the way it was effected, BJP also changed 3-4 chief ministers. There was not a whisper. The way Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu presented himself as the only champion of the causes of all Punjab. This is not done. This is not done. This is no behavior. As a PCC president, you are supposed to lead a team. A Dalit chief minister, before being sworn in, you are trying to say that he will be a puppet. That's what Navjot Singh Sidhu has been saying. What he said, he took a direct panga with Captain Amarinder Singh. He took a direct panga with Sunil Jakhar. He took Mr. Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa head on. For no reasons, he is his man. And then Mr. Channi appointed. He has been saying this, he will be leading the party. What will the chief minister doing? In any ruling dispensation, the chief ministers always lead the government and the PCC president always lead the party. And that's how the system works. Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu, while being PCC president, wanted to become chief minister, could not get it. And now up to creating every mess possible to neutralize whatever masterstroke, so-called masterstroke that Congress party has taken.
Okay.
And basically after this decision of appointing a Dalit chief minister, Congress party has taken all the things from all the opposition parties, despite all that mess. BJP also promised to bring a chief minister from Dalit community. Akalis were also saying that we will have a deputy chief minister from a Dalit community. AAP was also saying the same, Dalit deputy CM. Congress has already done it.
Right.
They have given the chief ministership.
But
And
what you're
still,
saying, Mr.
they are
Atri,
fighting for what?
yes, what you're saying is become the big debating point within the party and, you know, even by other political parties. And Nija, good evening to you. What is your view? I mean, many are saying, well, it's very clear that you've put the new chief minister as a puppet CM. And why would you choose a scheduled caste chief minister and put him there when he has no power and Sidhu has all the power? But is that the party's intention any which ways, that Sidhu leads them into the campaign?
I think, there is confusion there. Sidhu will lead them in the campaign. That's what Mr. Rawat said. That's what Sunil Jakhar criticized. So obviously there is not a consensus on that within the party. And yet they are playing the Dalit card, which I think is a good move they've made in terms of doing damage control and the mess they found themselves in, because that is the best they could do. First Dalit CM, but if he's going to be, as they say, a stopgap arrangement, and that is the message that goes to the Dalit community, then there'll be hardly any benefit accruing from that very move. I think that, it's going to be if the Congress party does win in 2022 in Punjab, and it wins under the stewardship of Charanjit Channi as the CM, it will be very difficult for the Congress to remove him without, damage being caused amongst the Dalit voters. And, that signal will go not just to Punjab, that is a signal that will go to other states of India also. So I think that's a collateral benefit that is accrued to the Congress after all the shenanigans that we've seen in the last weeks. But there is confusion about who's going to lead the campaign, what is the promise that's been made to Mr. Sidhu Will he become the chief minister after the election? I think all in all, it's a very messy situation that the Congress has got itself into. It shot itself in the foot. Whether it will be able to come out or not remains to be seen. And the original idea is very unclear. Why did they have to go in for it? 6 months ago, the party seemed poised for victory. Everybody was saying they are coming back to power. And 6 months now, today down the line, you see confusion. Even the MLAs are uncertain about winning. So what have they gained? Why did they go in for this exercise?
Well, I have been wondering the same. Let me ask Anshul this question. This is exactly the conversation we were internally discussing this morning as well. Why did Anshul, we have to reach this point? Almost every expert, every senior journalist who's been tracking this story has said 6 months ago or even 8 months ago, Congress looked poised, much well in the lead. Why are we going through this chaos right now, and what is the end point?
I keep wondering why such cynicism to me, which is a momentous and actually a monumental occasion to me in terms of social justice and empowerment, in terms of political responsibility, in terms of, inclusive growth, all the things that we work for all the time, which is very dear to me. I mean, in politics, for this idea of social justice. And now we're talking in such cynical terms about instrumentalism, about vote bank politics, Dalit card, master stroke, ye sab chhod dijiye bhai. What has happened here is a moment of great elation for me. It's a watershed moment. History will look back at this moment and say, wow, let's look back and see what happened here. Because this is not just symbolic, Tanvi. This is empowerment in its purest sense of the word. All this talk about puppets and this and that. All this clamor and discordance. I don't really care about.
Why is this empowerment? Why is this empowerment coming into the tail end of your term in Punjab? Why is it coming in the final year where every other political party has made similar noise? And Anshul, if it is, can you then tell me that if you win this election, Channi will be back as chief minister?
Again, why should it be looked at?
Because otherwise it's tokenism.
Of such cynicism.
Because then it is tokenism.
No, it's not. Mr. Channi has agency. He is empowered. He's worked his way through from the grassroots level to reach this position. He's sufficiently experienced. He's been LOP. He has ministerial charge. He has administrative skills. He's not been plucked out of nowhere and hoisted to this position, right? That we should be so cynical and pessimistic about this. This is a moment that I think is very important for the cause of social justice. And I think that let's not drown ourselves in this kind of make-believe or myth-making or the discordance and try and unscramble all the words. We've lost the dignity of the moment.
No. So you're telling me that he was appointed in the final year of your term, just a months ahead of election, because that's how long it took him to fight his way from grassroots to be on the top? I'm simply asking you, if it's not symbolic, why couldn't it have been done earlier?
No. What you're asking me are legitimate questions. I'm not dismissing them. I'm here to answer them. But this is the way I'm going to answer it. I believe that this was done in the cause of social justice. Now, change is inevitable in every party. There is a time where it comes. How can you preempt the nature of change? Things happen. In politics, everything is not etched out in stone. You can't predict what's going to happen 5 years from now or 10 years from now. I think the moment is a moment of elation. We've said it right and again. It's not only symbolic, but it sends a message throughout India that Punjab now has a Dalit chief minister, the only Dalit chief minister in India, I think, at the moment. And that is a huge deal. I think that is a moment for me to feel really happy instead of drowning myself in such cynicism and horror about what's going to come and continuously forecasting doomsday scenarios and working out alternatives here.
Okay.
I think what I'm trying... Yeah.
Yes, okay. You're holding on to that one aspect rather than drowning yourself or looking at all the other big issues that others are raising. Fair enough. Paramveer wants to make a point of the Aam Aadmi Party. Go ahead, Paramveer Singh.
First of all, thanks, Tanvi, for having me here. I somehow disagree with my Congressy friend has just stated. He has used the word social justice as being done. So to my amaze and to the surprise to the whole of nation, why this Dalit love came after 75 years of independence of this nation, right? Social justice could be done years back, and moreover, in the state of Punjab, you just simply can't, say you have led the government with Captain Amrinder Singh. You affirm today by taking his resignation that he certainly failed as a administrator of the state. Second thing, in the tail months, or I can say in the tail days, because in next 60 days, hardly, code of conduct is going to be implemented in Punjab. So in the tail months, tail days, you are coming up with a decision of swearing Mr. Charanjit Channi, who you claim that is a Dalit CM. I respect that. I welcome this decision. I wish best of luck to the government again. But the issues, the real issues, vote bank is fine. Every party will do that. But the real issues of Punjab, which are not being met in 4.5 years of this governance. There is sand mafia, there is land mafia, there is cable mafia, there is transport mafia. 121 people died because of poisonous liquor, adult liquor. About the Dalits, this Congress government promised in 2017 that they will give 5 marlas plot to the Dalits, Pakka houses to the Dalits. Where is the free education they claimed? Where is the free health facility they stated in their 129-page manifesto in 2017? So my questions are, it's not about changing the hands of power. It's not about changing a chief minister or installing 2 deputy CMs along that or reshuffling any cabinet. There's another interesting question. One of the cabinet minister of Punjab, Mr. Sadhu Singh Dharamsot, he is under the allegations that he is involved in the scam of scholarships of Dalit students, lakhs of Dalit students, crores of funds is being, misled.
Okay.
Will they shunt him out of the cabinet? Or as Mr. Channi has committed in his primary speech after being installed as the CM, that he will take harder action on the people, those who are, responsible for all this madness. Will he take action against his own cabinet minister as well?
Okay, let's. Yes, okay.
Then only we can ensure that this is a committed government or this is a committed CM.
Anshul can respond on that and tell us how exactly will there be social justice.
No, I'm not, first of all, interested in responding to unsubstantiated allegations. I want to just tell you that how can there be social justice? Well, the Congress is known for that. Its middle name is social justice. I mean, from the very time of the call of Mahatma Gandhi, when all the Dalits joined to fight for the freedom movement, that was the time when social justice was awakened. And then after that, well, it's been a long history of social justice. It's been a terrible battle, which has still not been won, by the way. Which has still not been won. And it's actually, Tanvi, it's quite disgraceful that we have to talk about a chief minister who is actually Dalit through the filter of Dalit politics. It's terrible that, Dalits are still imprisoned in their caste fold, that whenever we talk about a Dalit, we ghettoize them. We don't talk about anything else because Dalithood becomes the single marker of their identity. It's absolutely shameful.
I'll tell you why, because political party after political party, Anshul. I'll tell you why, because party after party has only used this card for their political benefits to just get the votes in and forgotten, irrespective of which political party and which leader, nobody has actually done anything on ground. So if you're telling me why is there still ghettoization, why does it get reduced to their identity, it is exactly because of the politicians and because of the political parties, for no other reason. You only remember this around the election season, you only draw your alliances, you only placate them on your cabinets, you only make them ministers when you see it politically beneficial, and after that nothing actually on ground takes place. Schemes are announced and forgotten. Yes, please.
Can I answer that, Tanvi? Let me answer that.
1 minute, Paramveer. Let Anshul respond.
To the Constitution. It was reservations. Reservations has gone beyond politics. It is who did it? I mean, it was the Congress party. What about this ensuring the atrocities against scheduled castes and scheduled tribes? There are legislations and laws which have been instituted by the Congress party which go beyond politics. Vote back politics, you leave aside for a minute. I agree or disagree with you. Absolutely fine. But there are measures that have taken place since independence. There's a lot more that needs to be done which go beyond politics. After all, there has been empowerment which goes beyond the scope of politics. There have been chief ministers, there have been political reservations, there have been decision makings right at the top, because empowerment has to some extent being institutionalized. Now, beyond that, we have to work towards another level of institutionalization and empowerment, which is actually to make people and give them responsibility. That happens at the level of political parties. That's just one aspect of it, Tanvi. That's not the totality of empowerment that has happened in this country.
Okay, okay. No, 1 minute. Allow me to just bring in Anila Singh, who's patiently heard everybody out. Let's give the BJP their turn as well. If in Gujarat the BJP can overhaul the entire cabinet, then why shouldn't the Congress party be able to do so ahead of elections?
Of course, they can go ahead and they have done it. Tanvi, there is absolutely no question on reappointment of new Chief Minister of PACE. My only reservation is that Mr. Rahul Gandhi or Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, they have finalized a name, a person who has been accused by a senior IAS, a lady IAS officer for Me Too. So what type of message Congress party wants to send through in Punjab? That ladies, now you do not have to complain because we have got a brand ambassador for sexual assault as the Chief Minister of Punjab. So that is my problem. So, I mean, they can go ahead, they can make any person from any caste community. That is not our prerogative. It is the prerogative of Congress party. But the thing is, he was the only Dalit face left in the PCC. This is what Mr. Jakhar also said, that there are many strong faces in Punjab Congress who could have been Chief Minister of Punjab. But they selected a person because I think perhaps he is the biggest sycophant of Gandhi Darbar. That is why his name was finalized. Today, I was listening to Anshul ji and he was simply, saying a number of things in praise of Mr. Chani. But the biggest thing is a person who has been accused by a lady officer, how he can be the Chief Minister of Punjab. That is my reservation.
Anshul can respond to you, but if I'm not mistaken, just to put the facts on the table, that complaint was withdrawn by the officer in question.
Because Chief Minister of that time is Captain Amrinder Singh. I mean, since he was the captain of the ship, he thought that the bad name will be brought to the government. That is why the case was, it was simply put beneath the carpet, I can say so.
Anshul.
Can I just... Yeah, well, I respect Anila ji. For one thing, I've noticed that regardless of whichever party it is, she always brings up the cause of women, and gender empowerment to me is equally important. So I respect that. I'm glad she's brought this up. Exactly what you said. I mean, there is no case that's been filed at the moment. And why should this be brought up now? Because he's a Dalit and he's been made Chief Minister at the moment. There's no point in that at the moment. So, while respecting all what Anila ji has done, or what says in the case of empowerment of women, and I completely agree with that. I have no dispute regarding that. Here, it does not hold. It is not substantiated here. And therefore, we have to focus on the moment of social justice and empowerment and the elation that I am feeling at the moment of appointing Dalit as a Chief Minister of the state, and the powerful message it spreads across India. I mean, I think it is going to have an electrifying effect to the rest of this country.
Okay, I want to go back to one point.
Can I have a second, please?
Yeah, okay, yes.
Okay. So in today's date, Tanvi, we have got two people heading Punjab. One is Mr. Charanjit, who, as I mentioned, who is being accused of Me Too. And we have got Navjot Singh Sidhu, who is heading Punjab Congress. We know it very well that he is very close buddy of General Bajwa and Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan. So we have got two people who are not being taken in a very good taste by the people of Punjab, and I can talk about the country as well. So what Congress has to say on that? That you have got only these two people in your party, one who is very, very close with Pakistan Army Chief and the Prime Minister, and the person who is being accused of Me Too. I mean, this shows the political bankruptcy of Congress party in Punjab.
Anshul, do you have a response to that? Yeah, before I go across to our other panelists.
No, very quickly. I mean, there is nothing. I mean, this can't be seen as a treasonous act. I mean, it was an invitation which he went, and he's explained why he went that. That's been done and dusted. You can't invoke various things to malign a particular kind of establishment or dispensation which has newly emerged and keep invoking it from. I can keep doing that till kingdom come about all members of the BJP, including the Me Too people in the BJP. I mean, there's nothing new. I can keep doing it all the time.
Okay,
There is no point in this.
Okay, fair enough. Now let's look at the way forward and whether this problem has been resolved or it continues. Two experts on this panel who track politics very, very closely and Congress politics very, very closely say there is still confusion. Now, Harish Rawat says Sidhu will lead elections. Mr. Jhakar raises that as an issue. Mr. Channi says I will do whatever Rahul and Sonia tell me to do. Surjewala says, Mr. Hemant Attri, Surjewala says together Sidhu and Channi will fight elections. Now, is that possible? Is that going to really happen?
As my senior colleague Nirja ji said, this is perfectly the case what is going to be. Surjewala clarified all the thing, and this is a standard practice all over the country. Wherever you are in the ruling regime, there is a chief minister who rules the government, and there is a PCC president who heads the party. There's no confusion on it. This confusion was deliberately created by a certain vested interest just to lose the psychological advantage what the Congress had initially by this decision. Now, will you please allow me for a minute why BJP and all others are typically taking one issue of that IAS officer? It has hurted where it hurts the most. A person, there was an allegation, fine. That case has been sorted out. There was a compromise. I don't know how it was. Unless and until there is a pending case, there should be no cries. There should be no hues and cries. Why BJP is shouting on that? I fail to understand that. There are so many allegations of, spying and so many people. I never name anybody. They were never looked into. They were never investigated. Here in this case, at least there was a compromise. The very simple reason, right from Mayawati to anybody, to AAP, to everybody. First time they should welcome a thing that a Dalit chief minister is there in place in state like Punjab. It should be welcomed across the board. If something good happens, that is one. Two, as far as this mess is created, this is not going to end here unless and until all these Punjab Congress leaders are able to take care of what the High Command has given them. I don't think they will be able to, for the very simple reason, all of them have their own vested interests and ambitions. Otherwise, AAP, Aam Aadmi Party, BJP, Shiromani Akali Dal, they all had a Dalit flag. And Congress, by appointing them, has taken that up. There is no doubt about it. Now, the simple thing is how these Congress people, including all, I don't want to save anybody or name anybody. They are all like that. They have their own personal ambitions. But one thing, as Nirjaji also pointed out, I also said in my initial thing, nobody, mark my word, nobody in Punjab or at national level, Delhi level, if Congress party wins this election, I don't know whether it will or not. Nobody can replace a Dalit chief minister in Punjab. It will have, I don't know whether it will have pan-India positivities for Congress or not. But the moment if Congress wins it and they don't appoint Mr. Channi as the chief minister again, it will have huge ramifications all across the country. They have taken a very big gamble and they should call all their people, all their senior leaders who are creating all this nuisance to mend their ways and stick to the diktat, whatever has been given by the High Command. Otherwise, what will happen? These petty things like allegations and all, whatever this IAS officer thing, they will keep rising just to defame somebody. He is a person who has been appointed. There was a compromise formula that has been worked out. There is no case pending against him. But for you are creating all this hue and cries. I don't feel like what they are doing. This is simple as that. It has hurted them. It has hurted their whole future things. And the Congress guys, due to their own over-ambitious approach, they are not able to understand the whole game. Simple thing is, a situation is there. They should all help the new chief minister if they are real congressmen. Opposition will always ask certain questions. They are entitled to, but they should defend in a particular.
So, okay, let me take this point. I want to take the point that you made, Mr. Attri, and take it across to Nirja as well. Is this a good thing, Nirja Chaudhary, that various leaders within a party are able to say what they want to, speak their mind within the Congress party? As they said, we are a democratic party, everybody has a right to voice their opinion, or is it harmful? And secondly, the point that Mr. Attri made, difficult to go back from here if they win and come back if they want to replace Mr. Channi, will that be a big challenge for them?
Look, of course, it's very good thing for any party to have its members express their views honestly. Without it, there cannot be democratic functioning. But there is a line drawn. Do you do it inside party fora or do you do it publicly? Sometimes moments come when you have to, the issues are so big that you may have to do it publicly. But the kind of infighting that we saw in the first hours after Mr. Channi took over, I think it doesn't portend well for the coming weeks. And I think we will probably see an intensification of infighting. We also don't know how the Jat Sikh community is going to react to the installation of Mr. Channi, because Jat Sikhs have ruled Punjab over the decades, and this perceived loss of power, how are they going to react to it? Do they look to other parties? Do they remain with the Congress party? And then we have not only Mr. Sunil Jakhar versus Sidhu, we also had a bit of Sidhu versus Mr. Randhawa. Mr. Randhawa, Sukhjinder Randhawa almost made it to be the chief minister, except for the fact that Sidhu, shot it down. And then Mr. Channi emerged as the compromise candidate. Now, given all the, if you again, I go back to 6 months ago. 6 months ago, there was a politically stable scenario. There was a tall leader leading the Congress party with 50 years and more of experience. He's the tallest leader today in Punjab, barring perhaps Mr. Badal, Prakash Singh Badal. And you remove that and you put into place a scenario which is, 3, 4, 5 people at war with each other. So this kind of khichdi that has been put forward to the people of Punjab, I come back to my question, what was the need for it? If the need was that the High Command of the Congress party had problems with Mr. Captain Amrinder Singh, they wanted to clip his wings, they didn't like his autonomous functioning, he almost used to cock a slook at the High Command. So if that was the problem, it could have been done later on, maybe after the election. But if there is a view now in the Congress party that the High Command's writ must run, or there cannot be a revival, that we will not relinquish power whether we rule 1 state, 2 states, 4 states, or the rest of India. That is secondary. If that was the purpose, and the signal is also to be sent to Mr. Baghel in Chhattisgarh, to Mr. Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan, if that is the purpose, then I think today what we are seeing again is the writ of the High Command not running, with so many voices, discordant voices coming around the choice that the High Command has made. This confusion, I really go back to it. It's a self-goal that the Congress party has scored.
A self-goal, and I think, over the last several months, that's been constantly the criticism that's been raised by many who've been watching how Congress has dealt with this issue. And I just want to draw a simple parallel, Anshul, and get your response on it. There has been, for the BJP, there has been a problem in Gujarat, there's been a problem in Karnataka, other states where the buzz is now beginning to take place. But look at the swiftness with which they move, put the fire out, take decisions, and it's done. Even in Gujarat, where there was significant dissent to when the changes were being made, it was literally a 24-hour. What are we doing now? In Congress party, how many weeks has it been? After the decision, after the new chief minister is sworn in, this kind of commentary still continues from within the party. What message is your party worker going to get on ground?
I'm not sure you can call authoritarianism swiftness. I'm not sure if this kind of, there wasn't even a squeal heard because the party works under so much of fear, because two people absolutely run that party in a very moment like Tughlaq way. I mean, there is nothing that is heard. So, I mean, to have competitive politics within one party, to have a democratic tradition, which has been the feature of the Congress party, is pitted against what the BJP has done. There's no example to emulate. I think another very important point, and I'm very happy because to me, this is a glorious day, and I'm going to re-emphasize this day, because Dalit politics has been brought back to the center stage of this polity after 7 years. You know, it is all forgotten. There was no talk of social justice for the last 7 years. Every single policy of this government has been oligarchical, has been parceling up this country and selling it to oligarchs, or has been, absolutely incompetent.
Well, I can count,
and anti-poor. So, and
sure,
you know, Anila,
I can cite you 3 instances in just the last 6 months, actually. Anila can add to it if she wants, where the BJP has made similar noise. Whether it was the Gujarat cabinet and the caste-based arithmetic that they gave for the inductions in the Gujarat cabinet, whether it was the Uttar Pradesh cabinet or even the Union cabinet. The first time, great inclusion, diversity is being acknowledged, everybody is being included, all kinds of backgrounds, and so many OBCs and so many SCs and STs have been included in the cabinet. What are you saying? They've been making the same noise.
Absolutely not.
So where are the parties going beyond this?
Absolutely
Which
incorrect.
of you two are going beyond this?
What happened in the cabinet? Let me just explain what happened. It's pure tokenism. I mean, it's actually patronizing, because the number of Dalits who are, please do tell me how many Dalits in the union cabinet, first of all, are in the union cabinet, and what are the powers they possess? How many joint secretaries do they have? You will get to know how a power is distributed among, I'm talking only about the Dalits. And the only time the Dalit discourse has come was in the case of Hathras, where when Anila ji speaks about women's empowerment, which is my thing as well. I mean, there, do you know what happened? Where the DM of the state actually burned that poor girl without allowing the family members to come in. So this is how you treat your Dalits, and this is how you become a votary of women's causes. I mean, it's just beyond me. So the only time it's come into focus in this highly humiliating or patronizing way as a union reshuffle. Do tell me, Tanvi, how many people have real power in that cabinet, and MOS doesn't have power? I know how the way government functions really well. And how many Dalits are in the union cabinet? Indeed, in the Gujarat reshuffle, how many people are there in the union cabinet? And what kind of ministry do they have? How many secretaries are under them? And I will tell you what power is all about.
Well, so whether yours is tokenism or not remains to be seen when it comes to Punjab. But let's just simply put, even the Chief Minister himself says, I'm only going to implement what Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi tell me to do. And I will, as Chief Minister, going to implement that. But Anila Singh can respond to you. Yes.
Tanvi, first of all, I would like to tell Mr. Anshul, please, because I come from Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is my home state, and we have got a fantastic Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath ji, who works day in and day out for each and every person living in my state, Uttar Pradesh. So, and if you talk about Dalits in Uttar Pradesh, they voted maximum for Bharatiya Janata Party in all elections. So in Uttar Pradesh, Dalits are very much secure. They are happy with Bharatiya Janata Party. And initially you said that because there was no noise in changing of Chief Minister in Gujarat or any other state of Bharatiya Janata Party rule government, it is because of the authoritarian attitude of the senior leadership. So let me tell you here that in our political party, we are taught that like for any worker, your country is the ultimate thing, and after that your party, and then you yourself. So Bharatiya Janata Party stands for the country, then political party, then him or herself. But in Congress party, we have seen it is a person-dominated political party. That is why we have seen so much of ruckus in Punjab. That is the sole reason. In Bharatiya Janata Party, we workers are very much disciplined. Our organization.
Ma'am, what happened in Hathras? Why did you burn that poor girl without the presence of the family?
This case is totally different. So let us not discuss
why
about
did that happen? It's unimaginable.
What happened. What happened?
Poor Dalit girl was burned without the family even coming in. And where is that DM? Where are those officials?
5 days back, what happened in Rajasthan? Can you tell me
Well,
that?
they've been resolved. No, you can't say that, oh, what happened here, so you can't answer about Hathras.
Cases
The,
of
the
Congress
Hathras case,
as well. So please do not tell me, do not discuss here about the Hathras case. Then you have to answer about the Rajasthan case as well. Then you
so
have to
why
answer
is
about
that
the
an?
Maharashtra case
No,
as
of course I
well.
will answer. But I asked you simply what happened
If you are
there.
going to put question in front of me, then I am going to counter it. I am going to put counter questions. So let us not discuss about Hathras. We can discuss about Hathras anyway when Tanvi is going to invite me for any of the discussion on Uttar Pradesh politics. But yes, you must understand this thing that our organizational strength is an example in politics, not only in
Allow me to. Okay. Now, here is the larger point. As Congress and BJP, fight it out on this. Let me also bring in the Aam Aadmi Party, because Paramveer, clearly in the Punjab election, the Dalit card issue is going to be a big one. Now, most political parties have already raised it, but will it be a challenge now that the Congress has made a chief minister who is also from the same community?
No, Tanvi, not at all. I don't consider it as a challenge to Aam Aadmi Party having installed a Dalit CM. With all due respect, I would like to urge here that with respect to whole of the states of this nation, Punjabi Dalits are literate, they are rational, and they decide on the factors of issues. They don't just, go by this pomp and show
Thank you for
being
that.
drawn by Congress.
Thank you for the patronizing comments.
Sir, I'll respond to you. Please let me complete. I'll respond to you. Right. So the Punjabi Dalits, they will definitely vote on the issues which actually being promised by 10 years of Akali government, not fulfilled, then by the 2007 Captain Amrinder Singh government. Yet people of Punjab are waiting for the same basic education. I tell you, let me bring to kind notice of the Congress spokesperson that Congress, having come in power 2017, they closed 800 government schools in Punjab. That's a fact, on record thing. Only Dalit, Mazdoors, laborers, poor people, they go to government schools, right? Who will fill that gap of education being taken away from the children, the students, those who were to attend those schools? Why those schools were closed? Will you respond over this, sir? What was the policy behind that? The simple policy was that because Congress did not want to, induct teachers for that. They just, wanted to get away from the answerability about the collapsing infrastructure of those schools, right? So the Dalits of Punjab, the voters of Punjab, they will vote for better education, better health facilities, which are being cracked in Punjab by this government. And there are many other issues. Not even a single promise this government has met yet.
I know, what you're pointing out as all of the failures of this government. I think what you're saying also has been said by many within the Congress party, and as they have been pointing out failures of their own government. But I still have two experts here, and over the last several weeks, we've had these conversations with various experts and journalists who've been saying that even then, it looked as if Congress was in the lead. Now, what does that say about having a more credible, stronger alternative opposition in the state? Paramveer, that question to you.
Tanvi, is that question to
Yes.
me? Can you please repeat? I could not.
The question to you is, I know you're pointing out all of the failures of Captain Amrinder's government of this 4-year term that has gone so far. So does the Congress party's own leaders. But we have experts sitting here who for several weeks now again and again have pointed out that Congress looked poised to win the election. And if they lose now, it will be only because of this chaos that has happened in the last 3 months and for no other reason. What does that say about lack of options for people in Punjab?
See, Tanvi, there has been a continuous, nexus between these two parties. Congress with Captain Amrinder Singh as CM or the head of the party, and Akali Dal with the Badals and Majithias. People, they are very sure now that their people have been working all together with each other's, consensus. They have created sand mafia, they have created land mafia. Let me inform you, let me bring to your kind notice that there is cable mafia in Punjab. There was a panel established by central government with 5 judges and a cable operator from Jalandhar. he consumed poison in front of that jury and he died over there. And no Congress person, no Akali person is yet been questioned over it. Same mafia is working with transport, with sand, land grabbing, and they have full authority by the Congress and Akalis. Even Akalis, they have full powers in the Congress government. But now people are aware. People are aware that we have to eradicate both these ideologies from Punjab for the betterment, right? The question you raised, that on people of Congress, they've been raising their authority. They were questioning Captain Amrinder Singh that we have worked relentlessly for the Congress party. We have struggled against the Akalis. Why you are hand in glove with the party? Why you are always giving a satisfying note to the Akalis as they are opposing us in every manner? But yes, the nexus between these two families, they have brought Punjab down, right? And we wish to bring Punjab again to the number one position. And we are a border state. We struggle with many things, right? We are lacking with water these days, right? Groundwater is depleting. Nobody is, taking care of that thing. These people, they have established their businesses, right? You break any chain behind, you'll get to find Congressy and Akali having shares in the similar businesses in Punjab. It is just the government changes, the authority changes, and businessmen, the leaders of both parties, they remain the same with the business, right? So people, they know the fact what actually is happening in Punjab.
Mr. Hemant Attri, would you like to weigh in on that before I get Anshul to respond?
See, whatever he is saying, there is some truth to it. And it is pan-India, not in Punjab only. It's same in Haryana, same in Rajasthan. There are two mainstream parties and they have been changing the shoes mutually. That is one part. As far as Captain Amrinder Singh's term was concerned, it goes beyond doubt that he was a, lackluster kind of an administration he was providing. He was geared by certain bureaucrats, a lobby of politicians, very few were close to him, and they had independent access. Except for that, no other MLAs or party workers had a direct access to Captain Amrinder Singh. He had a laid-back approach. He was being operated by these guys only. That is one, there is no doubt about it. Access was again, secondly, a very big issue. Number three, he could not address the sacrilege issue, the drug mafia issue, and so many other issues which were very dear to his own manifesto in the previous elections. That is one. There's no doubt about it. But still, due to various reasons, due to these farmer agitations and whatever situation was there, Congress was very well in the command, as Nirzaji also pointed out, 6 months back. What happened altogether is a very simple reason. Congress High Command is in a very, very bad habit of outsourcing a state to some individual. It can be Captain Amrinder Singh, it can be anybody. They don't keep check and balance. And then all of a sudden, some strategists come running and tells them, look, boss, there is a survey and he is going to drown. And that's how they get into a mess, the way they created it in Punjab. This is no way of governance. Congress has been a party of ruling party for the last 74 years. The way they behaved in Punjab, the way they changed their chief minister unceremoniously, the senior most leader, 80 years of age, where was it required? And there was a way of doing it. As Mrs. Gandhi called him and told him, sorry, Captain, she could have said the same thing to Captain Amrinder in person in Delhi. Where was the need of all this fiasco? Basically, the thing is, Yedurappa was again as senior as Captain Amrinder Singh was. He was creating all sorts of mess in Karnataka. Narendra Modi called him, put in a word, boss, you have to go on 26. And he went on 26. No confusion, no whisper, nothing doing. Same was with Rupani. He changed two chief ministers in Uttarakhand. What happened? Nothing. For the very simple reason, unless and until you use the authority, you command the authority, it is a liability. Authority is always to be commanded. Otherwise, it becomes a liability. And that's what precisely is happening with the Congress all across the India, all across the country. You know how they are losing the states. Punjab is one recent example. In Assam, they got more votes than BJP. But due to failure of their strategy, they lost it. They lost the state. They were winning Kerala, all hands down. In last 5 days, there was a whisper coming down that somebody will be chief minister and the party lost the election. All regional satraps, they ensured that this gentleman should not be a chief minister. Congress High Command has to mend its ways. It has to stop outsourcing. It has to keep a regular eye on the happenings of its ruled states. It's only three states. And see what is happening. Gehlot, Rajasthan, a sitting party president, Mr. Sachin Pilot, sitting deputy chief minister, rebelling against his own government. Imagine, have you heard it? PCC president rebelling against his own government. He is taking the advocates who are on the payrolls of BJP. What was that? Same is the case in now Chhattisgarh. Mr. Singh was being promised by none other than Mr. Rahul Gandhi himself that there will be 2 chief ministers of 2.5 years each.
Correct.
It was promised by Rahul Gandhi. What happened? So they have to put in their house in order. If they have to go a long way, because it's a competitive politics. And the way Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, they are running the party. It is, so many people will say that this is not a democratic way, this way or that way. But if you have to address to all these aspirations, leaders like Navjot Singh Sidhu and so many others in Punjab, that they have shown their true colors, you have to have a high-headed approach. There is no option. Congress party has basically forgotten the spelling of discipline. Internal party democracy is one thing one should always appreciate.
No, yeah,
But
absolutely.
they keep on saying anything and everything.
But at some point, you have to step in, take decisions, and get those decisions followed by everybody. You need to get your house in order, especially when there are crucial times around and you're preparing for a big election. You're literally preparing to fight to hold on to a state. Completely out of time. I'm going to thank all of our panelists for joining me on this conversation. As it has been in the past many conversations that we've had about Punjab ever since this became a huge issue. I will say it again. It remains to be seen if the Congress party has finally taken decisions which will put an end to its own self-created problems, self-created challenges in the state of Punjab. One of the states where they had a strong leader who won them that state 4 years ago. And now we're staring at a situation where there is so much of infighting, everybody wanting their own share of this pie, even before the next round of elections is held. Will the decision of bringing in Mr. Channi as the Chief Minister going to benefit them or further harm their fortunes in the upcoming elections remains to be seen. But one thing is for clear, that the party high command needs to take clearer decisions that everybody then at least knows what is what and follows. Who's in charge, who's going to handle governance, who's going to handle party decisions, who's going to lead the campaign, who will be the next Chief Minister face for them. That's the big question. Thank you for joining us.